ever have as murderous and tyrannical beyond belief. So you don't get that. So then what? What's left over? Well, here's another thing that's interesting about the postmodernists. In their world, there's nothing but power, right? Nothing exists but power. And so the landscape for the postmodernists is that the world is a sequence of pyramids, of hierarchies of power, all of them equally unjust and unreliable, let's say, because there's an infinite number of interpretations, and all that is establishing the relationship within those hierarchies and between those hierarchies is power. Now, obviously that's a conclusion that is cynical beyond comprehension and reprehensible beyond belief, not least because it reduces a very complex reality to a very simple single cause. But it also, the thing is, I've been trying to figure out why this emphasis on power above all else. Well, you think, well, the basic claim of an infinite number of interpretations is incorrect. There's no logical reason for the relationship between postmodernism and Marxism. There's no logical reason to believe on the face of the evidence that that's driven by compassion. It's allied with this sense that nothing exists but power. Well, that has me turn to Nietzsche's explanation for resentment. It's what's driving the entire enterprise is the fact that people in the academy, let's say, intellectuals in the academy, look out at the world and they notice that there are others who are respected perhaps more than they are, and there are others that have perhaps more than they are, and that goods are inequitably distributed beyond them. And the consequence of that is the emergence of the tremendous resentment that Nietzsche spoke of. The desire of that resentment is to pull down the hierarchies by criticizing them. That's the motivation for positing the infinite number of potential interpretations, because if there's an infinite number of potential interpretations and your interpretation privileges you to a particular position of power, and I can undermine your claim to the validity of that interpretation, then I can logically demolish your claim that you deserve whatever power, authority, privilege, etc. goes along with that position. While it also allows me to usurp it. It allows me to use it for my own purposes. It allows me to take power and control. And since the postmodernists have already claimed that all that exists is power, why should we assume that there's anything whatsoever that motivates them, especially given the other incoherent paradoxes that are a part and parcel of the doctrine and its alliance with Marxism? Why should we assume that it is anything at all other than the naked will to power that motivates and activates the doctrine? Well, that's what I've been thinking about for more intensely than usual for about the last 8 months. When I've got it boiled down to something approximating 15 minutes, which is a period of time that's a bit short to deal with such things, but I would certainly at least invite you to think about it, because I don't see that I haven't been able to figure out any way out of the logical argument that I just presented to you. And if that argument is correct, then that's a diagnosis for what's happening in the politically correct world and actually what its motivations are. And I believe that my argument it's accurate. It's accurate. And it's destroying the universities. And it's invading the rest of our society. And the idea that there's something good behind it, that's a dangerous idea. I don't think so. I think what's behind it is exactly what Nietzsche noted 150 years ago. It's resentment and the demand for power, disguising itself most reprehensibly as compassion. And it's time for the mask of that to be taken off and things set straight before we walk further down a path that will lead to no good than we've already walked down. Thank you.